Yeah, wonderful people, viewers and subscribers. Let me quickly address something very urgently and quickly. The mentality of African people in primitive accumulation of wealth, because that is where it all starts. I've gone round, I've seen places right here in Paris and in France. I just observe one thing, that the Oyibos where they there, that's the Oyibos where get down. They don't need much. They live in simple houses, even old ones, as you're looking at it. They live here. But you know what? This is what they provide for asylum seekers or people who have been given their papers, foreigners. This is what they provide for them. This is where they live. Funny, right? Here you have modern facilities. If you look down there, there's another one. If you look the other way, there's another one. You see that? This very one. Modern facilities. Let me just show you inside so you see what it looks like. Okay, take a look at this apartment. This is what we may consider one bedroom flat. This is the sitting room. This is the dining. Now let's walk down to the bedroom. This apartment is provided for just a single person, not a big family. Okay? Now, on the right you have the wardrobe. On the left you have both toilet and bathroom. You now move over to the kitchen. Here you have storage on both sides. Here is the kitchen. Now tell me, what is lacking to make life better, to make life easier for the people here? Nothing, including the technology, the facilities, all modern. As you can see, that is the doorbell with camera. Now, this is provided by their government. You've seen it, right? That is what it looks like. Ego niile anyị na-akpakọ, ego niile anyị na-ebukọ n'Africa, kedu ife ihe eji eme? You see, their leaders are patriotic. That is where you have patriotic leaders. They do everything they can to better their society, irrespective of who you are. Despite being a foreigner, they will even give you the same. They will accord you the same treatment they do to themselves. And when it comes to public service, somebody in service, in public service, in political office do not need much. They don't need much. They don't need to build castles, build estates for themselves. They don't need to buy properties for their children and generation unborn. Because I tell you, those who went to Africa to bring the wealth of Africa back to this place to establish this life for their people, they didn't do it for themselves. They didn't keep those wealth for themselves and their families. If they do, here will not be anything. And their generations after them will not be benefiting what they are benefiting today.
Let me address some of the comments I got on this video when I published it. And some of those commentaries are, this one said, France without a single gold, yet the third largest in the world, and you are here blaming African leaders. This one, he continued here to say the problem is not African leaders, but your greedy colonial powers like Macron and the likes. You have decided not to let Africans pay. And this one also asked here, Sellers said, Asuzu, I have one question for you. Since I am not really sure where you currently live in, either in Nigeria, your homeland, or outside Nigeria, did you ever pay any taxes while in Nigeria? I can see you paying taxes right out of your paychecks. However, did you ever pay any taxes? For instance, gas tax for your car, taxes at the grocery store, homeowners, etc. These developed countries run mostly on taxes paid by the people of whom live there. I say all that to ask you what percentage of Nigerians pay tax out of the goodness of their heart. Nigerian people want their government to do everything for them for free. It seems I'm not saying your government isn't corrupt, but you guys gotta help yourselves a little. Good things don't come for free. You gotta pay to play, period. Well, this guy is living abroad. I can sense this from his comments. But let's go further. I swear, no mercy for them. Update us on the company that did your visa to, if trusted. Now let me leave it there and now tell you or read my response to them very quickly. And here it is. Blame yourselves. Those who did went to Africa, stole African resources, I mean the colonial masters, in the most cruel and wicked way. Yet they brought back the proceed to their home country for public good. Ask yourself, what has your evil African leaders done differently? They steal public wealth in the same manner the colonial masters did and send the money to the colonial masters' countries, stock them in their banks. The colonial masters doesn't need to colonize Africa anymore. Your leaders does that for them while you die in penury. When GGM advocate for good governance, the same suffering Africans will collect peanuts to rig back the same criminal-minded politicians into power. And I want to say this in conclusion, in response to the person that's asking whether or not I still live in Nigeria. I'm very much living in Nigeria. I will go back home to work hard to free our people from bad governance and not jabbering. Because for those who are asking update for jabbering, I didn't do anything with I don't need any agent to travel abroad. All I need is do the right thing. Okay? And that is just my response. I'm living much in my homeland. I'm working hard like the colonial masters did for their people. I'm working hard for public good for our own people. That is my response to this.
You get the point? Africa will have problem. Our people will have serious problem. And we must take ourselves. This one is no longer about the politicians. It's about individuals. The way I see our true wealth accumulation at the expense of other people. That is the problem. Nebe ni obodo bi. Nebe ndiva ndi belo obodo. Nebe fa alolova. Ifolia. Ebe mbi na this place. Eba. Na this place can be. Nenu eba akam de. All the floor eba can na no for now. Money ano. You saw how serene the entire place is. They provide everything for them. You know what? Now, when you look at these things, you now ask yourself the question, what really do we want on earth? Those people who lived here as their leaders before them, that made provision for them, and every time we castigate them, Western world did this, Western world did that, colonization did this, colonization did that to Africa. Foul. We are doing it to ourselves. Nobody does it to us. Whatever thing that you think that the colonial masters have done against Africans, I must tell you, we Africans brought it upon ourselves because you have the responsibility to change the narrative, even up to today. Your presidents, where are they? Where do they have their properties? Have they been able to provide adequate facilities for the people? The answer is no. The answer is no. Everything they want is just for themselves and to themselves alone. You can imagine if the people that went to Africa brought their resources back to the Western world, if they kept it to themselves and to themselves alone, Western world will not be where they are today. That is the thing. So I'm making this video for us to put sense into what we're doing, at least be patriotic to ourselves, and to rebuild our homeland. There's two ways about it. One point very for the here, and then can I want me see people? They are saying congratulations for what? It's the mad.
Eduga,
Edu guy.
Welcome to Paris.
I'm very happy.
Paris.
I'm very happy in Batago civilization. Look in the Western world.
Apoku civilization in the Western world. Akwa de bela Aisha ba ina. Aho akula Aisha akula Robert. But no problem. Yeah, all call the land in the woman.
Yeah, we got no much.
Ah, go. E mana ka go. E be cool kwa off.
Very good.
That's yakwa back.
Very important.
Honestly,
it's very important for sanity.
For sanity. Una mental health challenge.
I'm telling you all the too much.
What is congratulation in visiting abroad? There is no congratulations there. To be honest with you, the first day I came here, let me address it on the next video. Kangari could be in here. What I go? So let this spark conversation among us. What do we really need money for? And accumulated wealth. Do that which is also good for yourself and not for yourself, and more or less impact on the generality of the society. And that is why we are driving GGM. That is the spirit behind GGM. And I'm happy to be part of it. Will you be part of it? Join us in what we're doing on GGM. Igniting the revolution to free Africans from bad governance. Bye-bye for now. GGM, uniting the people for good governance.